This is Overtime with Chris Dewar, only on KHQA.
Well, this is Saturday, September the 10th, and you true believers have entered Overtime, your window on the world of local sports. And on this day, we've got a lot to wrap our heads around. We've got quarterback issues first and foremost to address in college football. A freshman phenom in Jacksonville, a fluid controversy in Macomb, and a Keokuk native center stage fighting for the Cy-Hawk Trophy. Plus, there's a new power emerging in high school soccer and an old standby on the volleyball scene looking better than ever. But we start with the last high school football precinct yet to report in week number 3. That would be the Quincy High Blue Devils, who sought to bounce back from a tumultuous and disappointing week 2 trip to Matea Valley with a trip to St. Louis. D'Angelo Dean setting the tone with defense. 3rd and short, Normandy snuffed out on its first possession. Normandy threatening on its second possession. Look at Dakota Downs with the interception to take away a red zone visit from the Vikings at that point. The Blue Devil offense was pretty much moribund in the first half, save for this, the jump pass from Connor Kelly, hooking up right here with Alex Kaufman. It covers 62 yards, puts the Devils up 7-0 at that point. It would be the last offensive play for Kelly, who would leave with a concussion. Normandy would answer, though, right back in this one. Moses Larkin looking for Terrell Whitfield. 7-6 at that point as the PAT would fail. It is a 12-yard touchdown pass. We're not done with Normandy in the first half. Later, again in the second quarter, Jason Lewis, the kid's got some speed right here. A pickup of 24 yards and the touchdown, and we ain't done with Normandy, not on this possession. A 2-point conversion to follow makes it a 14-7 lead at the half, as you will see. This guy, Mr. Larkin, go back to the air and convert that. Wes Irvinson playing great defense again later in the half for the Blue Devils as they were setting the tone right here. However, Quincy High down and outgained 137-90 in terms of yardage in the first half. Second half, though, the Blue Devils would pick it up. Mr. Rockhold right here with a beautiful toss sweep, going left and picking up 24 yards right there. Gonna set the table and the wheels in motion for this guy. Behold the hurricane. It is Malik Robbins stepping away from everyone. Beautiful work. An 18-yard touchdown on 3rd and long. And all of a sudden, we're tied up at 14 apiece. Jason Lewis, though, gonna break that tie and break it in a hurry. Down at his own 9-yard line in this affair. You're gonna see great stuff from him right there. But first, you're gonna see some defense from the Blue Devils as you are going to see Mr. Zanger with the interception. And that's great stuff from the Quincy High defense. More to come here. I mentioned that long rumble. It would be a phenomenal one for Normandy. From his own 9-yard line, you're going to see it from the back end of the defense and from the back end of the offense as well. Look at this thing. Just unbelievable. Just 2 cuts, and basically he is gone. Outstanding speed would put Normandy up at that point 21-14. The Blue Devils are in rally mode yet again, this time in the 4th quarter with their backs to the wall, trying to avoid a second straight loss. You need some resourcefulness, and look at this, the little modified Statue of Liberty draw give to Malik Robbins, and he's going to go all the way in to tie up the score. That play was great, but I got to show you the play that set up this touchdown, as we're going to have a Zanger-to-Zanger hookup, and it is just absolutely gorgeous. Malik Robbins in, but I got to show you this. Look at this pass from Jordan to Jared right along the sidelines. Magnificent catch, and that was pretty much the setup right there for that magnificent touchdown. We, my friends, are all tied up. Quincy High trying to get the ball back. This guy, Brandon White, wanting a shot to win it for his ball club, lining himself up on the sidelines, and the Blue Devils driving after getting possession with just seconds left in the ball game. Mike Davis right there with a big pickup, putting his team deep into the red zone. And from 27 yards out, Brandon White is going to get a chance to win this ball game, and he is going to be magnificent, dead, solid, perfect. Right up the middle with 8 seconds left, and that, my friends, is the measure of the ball game and the win for the Blue Devils as they win 24-21. Your heroes on the day, a backup quarterback, and of course, the lonely but effective kicker, Mr. Brandon White.
I thought it was interesting to see the guys' faces when I said, guys, you don't need to score a touchdown right here. All you need to do is get to the 25. And that was our last meeting in the huddle with them at the timeout. And the linemen's eyes got real big and the backs did because they know how valuable Brandon is. That's a huge weapon to have in Brandon White for late games like this. And I think when you know you have him, it changes your play calling, it changes your philosophy. And he's certainly had a huge impact in this game and definitely a difference maker.
I know he's ranked in the state. I don't know what he's ranked, but it's good to have a kicker like that will come in the clutch like that and give us the win. So I give a lot of props to him.
What was the stomach doing out there with a chance to win this game?
I was getting a little nervous, but I knew that the team believed in me, and I knew I needed to do my job, and it was my time to shine and do my job.
And that kid is one cool customer. Congratulations to the Blue Devils on the big win today. Well, to the college ranks now, where lackluster was perhaps too generous a description of the Fighting Leathernecks' play at quarterback in the season opener at Sam Houston State. A game that did little to prove that either Will Lunt or Josh Hudson were ready to assume the mantle of starting signal caller. The situation grew far sunnier this afternoon in Macomb. We pick it up with the defense, though, for the Leathernecks. Everybody watching and having fun, though, around as Western Illinois trying to set the tone with the defense right here. Tim Franken in the backfield with a tackle for loss. However, Jacksonville would keep the drive alive and actually make it an effective one. Josh McGregor looking up top right here for Larry Thompson on a 46-yard strike would actually tie this game up at this point. At that point right there, game all tied up. Here comes WIU, though, answering back in kind with a Josh pass. Josh Hudson got the start today. Magnificent pass right there to Miles Daughtry. 24 yards it covered. Made it 27-21. Leathernecks at that point. Quincy Notre Dame's Patrick Smith in with a PAT, making it 28-21. Fourth quarter, Leathernecks looking for more. Bryce Flowers rumbling 12 yards right here for the nice pickup as the offensive line picked up its play for the Leathernecks as well. And that would set up Josh Hudson again, this time hooking up with Terrion Crump, who had a monster day today. He's gone right here. The kid is just so strong for a wide receiver. 53 yards of pickup right there for Mr. Terrion Crump today. 7 catches, 143, and that touchdown. Josh Hudson may have won the quarterback job outright today. 14 of 20 passing, 215, and 3 touchdowns as the Leathernecks improved to 1-1 on the season, bouncing back with a nice win today. Final count 35-21 in favor of Western as they open up the new field turf in style. Wish we had better news for you on other local fronts. We decidedly do not. After opening the season with a victory, the Quincy University Hawks backslid into mediocrity today against national powerhouse Marion. QU was not even competitive, being outgained 516-182 in yardage in the shutout loss. Culver Stockton, not very good either at Peru State today, losing 58-27. Pleasant Hill's Adam Gunterman with 9 tackles and a quarterback sack today. One of the few positives for the Wildcats, who fall to 1-1 on the season as well. Truman State, though, after that ugly loss to Northwest Missouri State on opening night, bounces back with a win, rallying today. J.B. Clark, the Lehigh transfer at quarterback, 3 touchdown passes. Looked awfully darn good today. Speaking of quarterbacks, we want to talk about Michael Bates, the growing freshman legend at Illinois College, taking on Carroll. That's Peter Jennings, former Illinois College quarterback, and now an offensive coordinator for Carroll. Small world department today. Big D in the first half for Illinois College. First, the pickoff right here by Carter Cox with Carroll threatening, and that's an 18-yard return. Carroll threatening yet again. Peter Jennings not going to be happy with his quarterbacks taking chances on the day, or also his option passers, as you see right there. The trickery doesn't work. Cameron Rule out of Jacksonville with a pick right there. 3 first-half interceptions for Illinois College, including one more coming up right here by Dylan DeFoul right there, coming up with the nice stuff right there to take one away in the end zone. Carroll just denied on a couple of different counts, threatening. 14-7 Carroll in the third. Here comes Michael Bates, true freshman out of Auburn. We mentioned how good he's been. Look at the pass right there. Outstanding grab by Bryce Heaton. Unbelievable from the Jacksonville alum. Then later, it's Bates hooking up top with Brock Thompson from out of Virginia. That's a pickup, my friends, of 11 yards and a first down. Brock Thompson had an amazing day. More on him in a second. But Bates is spreading the wealth today. He's very mature for a quarterback, sees the field well, hooking up right here with Colin Dooling. That's a Blue Boys touchdown. Made it 14-14 at that point. The shout out for the Dooling family, who I know watches on the internet every week. Good for them. 14-14 at that point, and then more Bates right here, hooking up with Brock Thompson, who's probably going to be your Midwest Conference Player of the Week. 3 touchdown receptions, this one of 42 yards. Good week for the Thompson family. As you well know, Brock's uncle, Rich, got the big win last night over Brown County as Trey Ovia broke through. Illinois College now 2-0 on the season as they win yet again in comeback fashion. 34-27 was your final there. Well, on the Big Ten docket today, it was a day of mixed results for our homegrown products. Mr. Jack Cornell, Mr. James Vandenberg, highlights of those guys in a few moments. There's also plenty of overtime fun left away from the gridiron as well. We'll check in with the unbeaten Hannibal soccer team and hit the softball diamond in the volleyball courts after this break. And welcome back to Overtime, everybody. The Hannibal soccer team has been not only one of the most surprising teams in the early part of the fall sports calendar, jumping out to an unbeaten and scored upon start in its first 4 games, they've also been absolutely dazzling. Eric Hill's crew sought to continue that dominance and parlay it today into a tournament title in their own shindig, I should say. We take you to the semifinals today, taking on Summit Christian. And the Pirates going to work in this game. Penalty restart. Blake Hosley's kick is deflected off of Summit and ends up in the back of the net, giving the Pirates in the semifinals a 1-0 lead at that point. Less than a minute and a half left. Andrew Richards with the long pass here to Scott Cockrell, who is going to come free and make some things happen with a nice putback in the right side of the net. It's 2-0 at that point, and that's all goalkeeper Jacob McLaren would need. He had 4 straight shutouts working coming in, number 5 counting this game as well, as the Pirates win yet again and go on to the finals of their own tournament, beating Summit Christian 2-0. Unfortunately, the shutout streak would end in the championship game as Southern Boone comes in, drops 3 goals in the first 12 minutes, and hands Hannibal both its first defeat and its first goals against of the season. The only bright spot for Hannibal in the championship game was the play of Aaron White, who had a penalty kick, but too little too late. Still, the Pirates off to a phenomenal start. Congratulations to Eric Hill's crew for a great showing in the early part of the season. Bad news, and a tough loss for the Quincy Blue Devils to start out conference play. Their first loss of the season, damaging for the Blue Devils' hopes of winning the Western Big Six. They lose to Moline on the road. Does Quincy High 4-1. Better news for Quincy Notre Dame. Andrew Allen and the Reese boys all with goals today as Q&D knocks off Rochester by the final count of 3-0. Much better news for the Quincy High volleyball team today at the Jacksonville tournament. And right off the bat, that's Paige Brokaw with the block, setting the tone against a widely overmatched Danville squad. Alex Dietrich throwing down there as well. The Blue Devils off and running in game number 2, which would be all Blue Devils. Lexi Freeze, you've seen that too many times. That's just what she does. More Paige Brokaw doing a nice job in the middle today. The young middles for the Blue Devils playing big all across the board. How about some Brooke Agard? She had herself a nice game in this one as well, as the Blue Devils were up 17-3 at this point, in the way to a 25-3 victory. More to come right there. Little setter dump from India Green, who was all tournament in this and just absolutely magnificent. She had more set assists than anybody else in the tournament today as well. More Lexi Freeze serving for the ace. Abby Foster making her presence felt as well today. She made the all-tournament team as well, as the Blue Devils win this game going away 25-12, 25-3 in the prelims. The Blue Devils win the tournament as well, as they improve to 13-0 on the season. More from this tournament. Let's check in with the Jacksonville Crimsons taking on the legend Terry Paul and West Prairie. West Prairie very young this season. Some talent and some promise going forward, but no answer for Jacqueline Keene, who is just dynamic in the middle. Look at her throwing down hard there. Then it's Ellie Hinton making her presence felt, and more Jacksonville. More Jacqueline Keene right here, coming up strong as well with the block, as Jacksonville ends up winning this game by the final count of 25-12, 25-13. No results on their finals on the day as well. Check in with Jacksonville Rout as well, who was just taking the measure of Peoria Richwoods in the prelims. Kristen McGee going to come up right here with a little tap in for the Rout Lady Rockets. You will see her coming up right here, tapping one against and off the wickets for the kill right there. More to come right here from Joanna Gross, who throws in as well. Didn't get a final on this, but I know in game number 1, it was 25-20 in favor of Rout, leading Richwoods at that point. Again, we hope to get some finals for you. We'll post those to you to the web and tell you how everybody else did. But the big story today, the Quincy Blue Devils win the Jacksonville tournament, 16 teams, and look good doing so, improving to 13-0 on the season. Other scores to pass along of note today, the Quincy High Blue Devils finished 5th at the Rock Island Invitational, but they do have 2 medalists. Does Mike Terry's team. Katie Fauble wins her 2nd straight individual title at number 1 singles, and Delaney O'Donnell and Gabby Moss take 2nd place at number 1 doubles. Also, the Quincy Notre Dame tennis team taking out the Peoria's Dame, Manual and Central respectively, both by 9-0 scores. Kristen Tracy and Megan McGinn at number 1 and 2 respectively won both of their matches 6-0, 6-0 at 1 and 2 singles. Also on the day, Quincy Notre Dame taking part in the Porta Invitational for cross country. Boys finished 5th, girls finished 4th. Stephen Mooseholt with the highest low finish of the Notre Dame Raiders today on the boys' side, finishing 7th. Also, we've got some golf to pass along. Quincy High School finishing 10th in the loaded Mattoon Invitational. Your low Blue Devil of the weekend. It's a two-day affair. Colby Rodemick, who posts a 156. And at the noted Red Rogers Invitational up in beautiful Hamilton today, Quincy Notre Dame, your winner in a scorecard playoff over Brown County. But medalist honors go to Brown County's Alex Templin, who fired a 74 on the day. We've got softball for you today from the North Shelby Invitational. Brooke Hudson's Mark Twain crew taking on North Shelby, the host team. Second inning, the bunt right here by Victoria Thompson. She's safe at first, and Keely Smashy slides into third at that point for Twain. On the wild pitch, Miss Smashy is going to cross home plate and score. Right there, you will see it as Mark Twain grabs the lead. In the circle, Mackenzie Grossman going to do some work right here, picking up the K right there. North Shelby's threatening with a runner on third, but Rachel Echternock going to come in here and smack one to right field, but the greedy grab by Chloe Majors is going to take that away. Nice work by her. Miss Grossman helping her own cause right here. Kinsey going to go to work with a single to left center field. It would score Sarah Sapp. Mark Twain was leading this game at 6-2. We have no idea if they got anything finished today over at North Shelby because of the weather. If they got any further than this, we can tell you Mark Twain was leading this game when we left by the score of 6-2. We can also tell you La Plata was doing work against Marion County. Show you some highlights of that. Bases loaded for La Plata. Aaron Boren right here with a single up the middle to score 2. The Bulldogs would take a lead that they would not relinquish in this game. Mustangs in more trouble, but this single to right makes some things happen right here on the throw by Rachel Swarns. It's right on target, and Miss Bourne, who had that single earlier, is out at the plate. Great throw, great defense right there at that point. Destiny Johnson going to step up right here and get struck out at that point. Devin Johnson, though, doing some defense at this point as well. La Plata, though, just too tough in this game. They were leading, I believe, 9-0 was the last score we had in this one. Again, don't know if the tournament got finished due to the sketchy weather on the day. Other scores to pass along. Palmyra wins the K-Row tournament in the final game, 13-0, a big win over Moberly. Lex Van Nostrand with a 3-run homer on the day as well there. And coming up next, we'll check in with the Big Ten with Mr. Vandenberg and Mr. Cornell to see how their teams ended up.